We'll go ahead and get started for our MGT Empower Technology Managed Solutions webinar. A quick agenda for today. We're going to go through some introductions, talk about why managed solutions, MGT managed solutions, customer success, some procurement options, and then how to get started. So introductions, today's speaker is going to be Jack Maxfield, MGT General Manager of Managed Services, has been integral part of developing the MGT Managed Services offerings and leads the practice today. And I'm Edwin Dotson, MGT VP of Solutions Architecture for the West region. So who is MGT? MGT celebrated our 50th anniversary in 2024, began in 1974 with the mission of helping professionals in the public sector improve services to the local and regional communities. Our regional focus on improved education, fair and equitable contracting, and workforce development later expanded to include cybersecurity and IT infrastructure, among other solutions offerings. We've been providing technology solutions for more than 35 years. MGT's one-stop solution for the public sector really gives you the flexibility to work with one organization to meet all your needs, whether it's strategic consulting, academic transformation, facilities, fiscal, human capital, or IT infrastructure and cybersecurity, including the managed services we're going to talk about today. We'll be focusing on offerings from the Technology Solutions Group today, which has supported SLED into, customers for over 35 years, multi-vendor solutions and expertise, pre-sales design support, project management, cabling and managed services, and multiple procurement vehicles and procurement options that we'll talk about later in the presentation. But as you can see from our line card here, we offer a full suite of software, hardware, and solutions to meet all of your business outcomes and be able to manage and provide service on all of these offerings. So we are a nationally recognized company, locally focused. As you can see from here, we have 19 standalone offices across the country and with more than 450 engineers. Every dot indicates an office where we have fully staffed and trained engineers and have a full-fledged staff of engineers that work remotely across the country to manage your network and serve your needs. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jack to talk about our MGT managed solutions.
All right, thanks very much, Edwin. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you great.
Awesome. All right, thanks everybody. As Edwin said, welcome to our Managed Solutions webinar today. Exciting to be with you and to share some of the innovations that we're doing here in our Technology Solutions Group. I am going to get into our Managed Solutions portfolio, but before I do that, I want to share a bit of introductory material around some of the drivers for managed solutions and specifically in the SLED space. So we've identified that organizations, and more specifically SLED organizations, are facing a number of IT-related challenges. First and foremost is hiring and keeping skilled IT workers. And that seems to be only getting more challenging as IT infrastructure is becoming more complex, maybe more challenging to manage, and especially in light of rising cybersecurity threats. Budgets are certainly squeezed, and there's uncertainty around future funding and simply needing to do more with less resources. And these are all drivers that we're hearing consistently from our customers, and these drivers are influencing organizations to consider IT managed solutions. So back in 2024, MGT worked with McKinsey & Company to do research on managed services adoption in the SLED space, and specifically around as-a-service managed solutions. Now, what I mean by as-a-service is procuring technology, support, and managed services in an OpEx model with level monthly payments rather than large capital outlays up front. A good analogy to this is the buy versus lease decision when you purchase a car. The traditional method of procuring IT infrastructure is in what we call the VAR model. This is where you would purchase technology from a value-added reseller and either manage that infrastructure yourself with internal resources, or you might leverage a managed service provider, an MSP, to help support and maintain that infrastructure. Now, McKinsey's identified a handful of pros and cons that you see here on this screen for managing IT infrastructure in-house versus leveraging an MSP. So just a few things to note here. For in-house managed, some of the pros include, your IT teams, your internal IT teams certainly have the best context and in many cases have decades or more of experience on why your IT infrastructure is architected and managed the way it is today. However, this staff may lack the expertise to keep up with today's IT and cybersecurity advancements, and it may be challenging to hire and retain the right talent needed to keep pace. And of course, increased cyber threats are driving the need for 24/7 security monitoring, and the ability to effectively manage this may also be challenging with current staffing levels and expertise. Now, for managed solutions, some of the pros that McKinsey identified were that you get access to skilled resources and that those resources are available 24/7 with various support, management, and monitoring options available. So MSPs can certainly offer flexible technology acquisition models with options to move from CapEx to OpEx, creating more predictable expense models over time. However, one thing we've found is that MSPs may lack SLED-specific expertise, and of course, reliance on a single vendor can bring its own set of risks. So there's lots to consider when selecting when and how to engage an MSP. So one of the other things that McKinsey did in their research is they went out and talked to a number of leaders in the SLED space, and there's some quotes here on this slide. I want to just kind of focus on a couple of them. The first one here from a California school district CTO says, maintaining school security is a 24/7 job and it's highly complex. We compete with high-paying corporations in hiring the right expertise, so we are willing to outsource security monitoring and management. This is a common theme we hear from many of our SLED clients, that they're simply challenged to staff and keep the right people, and engaging with an MSP is a great way to address this challenge and mitigate risk. And then the third one down here is from a former New Jersey school director of IT with a New Jersey school district, who says SOC and SIEM go hand in hand with EDR and firewall management, which can be very costly at scale. A managed services offering makes sense because the MSP can scale up and down as our needs change. Again, this is along the same lines as the first quote, that security management can be challenging and an MSP can offer flexible options to complement the capabilities of your organization. So just a couple perspectives that highlight how partnering with an MSP can have positive impacts. Now, one of the other things that McKinsey worked with us on as part of this study was to develop a TCO model, or a total cost of ownership model, that can help us understand how districts spend their IT dollars and how migrating to as-a-service solutions can have a significant financial impact. So here's how this model works. It's basically a worksheet that we input some data into, and we start by identifying a district's annual IT spend. Now, what we found in our research is that most districts typically spend 3% or less of their overall budget on IT. In this particular example, we've identified a large district with a $3 billion annual budget. Now, using that 3% IT spend benchmark equates to $93 million in annual IT budget. Then McKinsey's research further breaks down that IT budget into the spend categories that you see here. In the case of cybersecurity, spend is typically 10% of IT budget. So on an annual basis for this customer, it would be $9.3 million annually. Some further analysis shows that districts spend about half of their cyber budget on managed detection and response, or MDR related functions. And that is endpoint security, firewalls, and the management and monitoring of that infrastructure. So what we found is that if districts convert just this MDR spend to a managed as a service solution, a district like this could save 30% or more over an in-house management approach. And in real dollars, that would be $7 million over a 5-year term. So this modeling shows that managed services can have a significant impact on IT budgets. These savings can allow an organization to refocus their limited IT staff and budget on their most strategic initiatives while ensuring their security and network infrastructure are in expert hands. So using this model, we'd like the opportunity to show you how your organization can benefit from managed services. At the end of this presentation, we'll provide information on how you can receive a customized TCO analysis report that uses this tooling. Okay. All right, we'll now get into some details on our managed services solutions. So we've organized our managed solutions catalog around these 4 primary groupings. So I'll summarize them here. So first, there's network infrastructure. So this would include wired and wireless LAN, data center networking, cybersecurity infrastructure, such as firewalls and VPN appliances. Under managed communication, that would include voice and unified communications infrastructure and related technologies. Under managed cloud and data, that would include servers, storage, virtualization, hosting, co-location, and backup services. And then lastly, under cybersecurity, this is focused on reactive security monitoring and incident response, as well as proactive security engagements such as pen testing, vulnerability assessments, and cyber awareness training. So we've identified a few highlights of our managed solutions. Now, our approach here at MGT to delivering managed services is to meet our clients where they are based on their current technology adoption and resources. We partner with your team to either co-manage or fully manage the infrastructure and services. And because we have a broad expertise across various vendors and technology, we create a single point of contact for your team when it comes to support and management. Services coverage and SLAs can be mixed and matched based on your needs. So for example, we offer 24/7 security monitoring management with business hours coverage for unified communication solutions. You can sort of mix and match SLAs based again on your needs. And lastly, we focus on customer success from start to finish, from onboarding you into our services to ongoing quarterly reviews, lifecycle management, and service and support renewals. Okay, so we're going to dig now into our offerings with a bit more detail. And as I mentioned earlier, we organize our offerings around these 4 sort of vertical groupings. But what I want to do is dig into a few of these and highlight some common themes that you'll see across these solution areas. The first one is support. So MGT has partnered with a number of vendors to offer Tier 1 and Tier 2 level support or help desk services. As an example, MGT is a Palo Alto Diamond partner and authorized support center. We're also a Juniper Networks Elite Plus partner and support specialist. These specializations allow you to make one call to MGT and get support on varied technologies, whether it's a firewall or a switch or a wireless LAN solution. We can help by eliminating the finger pointing that often occurs when troubleshooting complex IT issues directly with the vendors themselves. Second is monitoring and management. MGT offers 24/7 network and security monitoring along with device management so that we can not only identify issues in your infrastructure, but can proactively work with you to resolve those issues real time, from basic provisioning tasks to software upgrades and patch management. We handle the routine tasks, allowing your team to focus on your most pressing technology needs. And then lastly, flexible consumption models. We can work with you in a traditional VAR reseller model, selling you technology with managed services over the top, but we can also deliver an as-a-service solution that bundles the technology with the services in an easy-to-budget financial model. As I mentioned earlier, think lease versus buy. Okay, so next we're going to dig a little deeper into managed network infrastructure. As I mentioned earlier, we offer authorized support services or partner support for key vendors. So for wired and wireless LAN and data center infrastructure, that includes Juniper and Aruba. For security infrastructure, we're partnered with Palo Alto and Fortinet. And then for voice and unified communication solutions, we're partnered with Cisco and Mitel. Now, to offer this level of support service, MGT must maintain a high level of certification compliance, enabling us to handle Tier 1 and Tier 2 level cases directly. Our statistics show that we're able to close greater than 90% of our support cases in-house without the need to escalate to a vendor. But when a manufacturer case is needed, we have elevated access with those vendors and can manage those cases on your behalf. Now, we also offer 24/7 monitoring services that can extend from endpoints and servers to your wired and wireless LAN infrastructure, data centers, security appliances, and even your carrier circuits. We have flexible SLAs that are available to monitor and alert based on your specific needs. And to do that, we develop custom playbooks per device category and can notify you when needed in the format that you'd like, either email or phone call. Now, on the device management side, our services are used to make routine moves, adds, and changes of your infrastructure, including operating system updates and patches. SLAs are also flexible to provide these services when needed, from business hours only to full 24/7 by 365, including holidays. And then we can provide management services on a broad set of technology and vendors, well beyond those I mentioned for partner managed support. That includes Cisco, F5, Arista, and many others. Now, pricing for these infrastructure management services are per device, so you can mix and match SLAs and build a custom solution. Now, throughout this presentation, I'll be highlighting some customer successes along the way. Here, I'd like to highlight some work we've done with Cypress Fairbanks ISD in Houston. Now, we've been working with Cyfair for many years across their entire network and security infrastructure. The district has over 110,000 users spread across 100 facilities and 2 data centers. MGT worked with the district to implement a campus network refresh with over 12,000 access points and rolled out network access control for both wired and wireless users to strengthen access security. Now, most recently, MGT worked with the district to update their data center infrastructure, including border firewalls and internet-facing routers, to improve performance and scalability. Our managed service team provides 24/7 support, monitoring, and management of this critical infrastructure, while the district monitors and maintains the campus networks. This solution highlights our ability to work with clients throughout the technology lifecycle, from design, procurement, implementation, and day 2 support and management, meeting them where they need our capabilities to complement their staff and support needs. All right, next we're going to touch on managed communications.
Yeah, so we offer a wide range of services for managed communications, just like with network infrastructure. We have monitoring services that gives you 24/7 alerting and triage to monitor your critical communications infrastructure. Again, that pay what you need model that you're going to see consistently to the webinar as well talks about we're only going to cover what you need and only give the service levels that you need depending on the business use case. We can monitor your carrier circuit to make sure your analog trunks, your PRIs, your SIP trunks are always active and reliable. Gives you a custom visualization of your performance and availability of your system. Custom alerting, so you only get alert on what you want, what's important to you, and not every little thing that happens with the system. And then we offer things like 911 emergency notification system testing and certification. Moving on to a management aspect of it, right? We're able to fully manage your system as well. So If you would like us to take over the day-to-day operation, we can do moves, adds, and changes services from Cisco, Mitel, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, MGT Voice. Provide OS and code updates to those Cisco and Mitel systems that are on-prem that still require those regular updates. And we base this on a device-based pricing. So again, we can scale it to your infrastructure and scale it to your size. And then we could be able to provide things like remote reboot of your carrier provided equipment in the event there's an issue with the equipment and we're testing with your carrier. No need for you to send anybody on site or us to send anybody on site. We're able to remotely do that. And then we're able to provide voice and communication services on multiple platforms, whether that's MGT Voice, which is our UCAS service with Teams integration, Zoom, UCAS, WebEx calling, MGT hybrid cloud calling, allowing you to take advantage of some of those on-prem Cisco investments. Cisco on-prem, you see your SIP trunks, whether that's on-premise or in our co-location or the provider's co-location, and then monitor and manage and provide third-party add-ons such as SingleWire, mass notification, call recording, things like that. So we offer management and monitoring services with your existing voice system or full UCAS solutions to replace your existing voice system, as well as provide management and monitoring on top of that. And what we'd like to do is focus on one of our long-term managed communication customers, which is Sonoma County Library. Several years ago, we moved some Sonoma County Library. They were on an aging PBX. We moved into Cisco on-prem. And then with their latest renewal, as part of their life cycle process we go through with all of our customers, we identified that they were a perfect candidate to move to Cisco WebEx calling. So from a day zero, we were able to help migrate them because we manage their systems and make it easy for them. We were able to migrate them from on-prem Cisco UC into WebEx calling, while still being able to take advantage of their systems such as mass notification with SingleWire Fusion, as well as provide that day-to-day moves, as and changes service for their IT department and take that burden off of them, right? So that gives a simplified user experience to the staff and patrons when calling in to get information about the library, was able to move them from a CapEx to that OpEx model to mitigate audit risk, provide an enhanced cybersecurity because that's less systems on-prem that have a vulnerability, and then be able to produce a comprehensive multi-year cost projection to streamline their operations and provide that seamless migration.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Edwin.
Thank you.
It's funny how right as we got to that slide, my phone rang on my desk. Like it knew we were getting ready to talk about VoIP. All right, we're going to move now and we're going to talk a little bit about managed cloud and data. So MGT maintains private cloud data centers in Atlanta and Dallas, and we're working to expand our data center capabilities in the West. We leverage these data centers to host our managed solutions, but we're also extending or can extend our data center capabilities to our clients who need managed co-location, including hosting, storage, backup, and disaster recovery solutions. For co-location services, we offer full monitoring and management of these systems, including patch management and monthly health checks. Now, being in a multi-tenant private cloud data center, we have access to resilient carrier infrastructure, giving us over 80 gig of internet bandwidth, in addition to private carrier interconnects if clients need dedicated bandwidth into or between our data centers. Our capabilities extend into the public cloud as well, where we work with clients in Azure, AWS, GCP, and Oracle OCI. Lastly, managed backups and disaster recovery as a service is growing in popularity, and a comprehensive DR strategy is critical to recovering from cybersecurity events. Our managed services team can work closely with you to design and implement a DR as a service strategy that extends from on-premise to private and public cloud. Next, I'd like to highlight the work that we've been doing with Fulton County Schools here in Atlanta. MGT has been partnering with Fulton County for over 25 years, providing and supporting a broad set of IT solutions. With the growing dependency on reliable network and internet connectivity to ensure successful student outcomes, Fulton identified the need to build increased security and resiliency into their data center infrastructure. Back in 2022, Fulton decided to migrate one of their on-premise data centers to the MGT private cloud data center in Atlanta. They split their critical IT infrastructure between their existing on-premise data center, with MGT's data center providing full resilience and scalability as the district's needs changed. In addition to data center services, MGT is providing fully managed firewall and data center infrastructure services to interconnect the two data centers with their campus locations. In fact, 50% of Fulton's campuses use the MGT data center as their primary internet connectivity. MGT is also providing DDoS monitoring and mitigation services to protect the schools from denial of service attacks and ensuring teachers and students have access to the internet during critical times such as student testing. Okay. All right, closely related to our data center solutions are our Microsoft-specific managed solutions. As a Microsoft CSP and SPLA partner, we work with clients both on premises and in the cloud to support, monitor, and manage various Microsoft solutions. From virtualization strategies to architecting and implementing backup and DR solutions, to implementing Entra, Intune, and native security solutions such as Microsoft Defender and Sentinel, we meet our clients where they need assistance and can provide ongoing monitoring and management of Microsoft infrastructure. Right, next, I'd like to highlight what we're doing with Ring Power. Ring Power is a commercial client of ours. They're the Caterpillar heavy equipment dealer in Florida, and they have additional locations around the Southeast. Over the past few years, we've worked with Ring on a number of network infrastructure and security solutions, including migrating their backup ERP system to our cloud data center in Dallas. Now, focusing specifically on Microsoft managed services, our data center operations team has worked with Ring on their Microsoft 365 licensing and have architected their Entra, Intune, and Defender for Endpoint solutions. Our SOC provides 24/7 security monitoring, or MDR services, for this environment, extending from perimeter firewalls to servers and endpoints. Okay. We'll wrap up this section reviewing our managed cybersecurity solutions. Now, we think about managed cybersecurity around these four dimensions. The first is detection. So what we mean by detection is implementing solutions that can monitor and detect threats rapidly. Next is analysis. When a threat is identified, quickly diagnosing that threat and leveraging a variety of threat intelligence and AI-based resources. And then third is response, which is the notification and remediation of threats with human engagement, as well as automated actions to quickly mitigate threats. And then lastly is awareness, ongoing tuning and optimization of security infrastructure, vulnerability assessments and management, cybersecurity awareness training, and virtual CISO exercises to prepare your team for cyber incident response. So digging a bit deeper, for detection, we prefer to integrate our SOC capabilities with clients' existing security stack, including SIEM and endpoint security solutions. Now, when needed, MGT can offer SIEM and EDR solutions from a variety of vendors. We've developed our own in-house SIEM solution called AllSight, which features higher performance and scalability to meet the needs of large organizations. We've also partnered with Rapid7 to deliver a powerful cloud-based MDR solution. But as mentioned earlier, we can meet clients where they are and have a number of customers leveraging Microsoft Sentinel and other SIEM solutions. Our 24/7 US-based SOC leverages a vendor-agnostic SOAR platform to ingest alerts from various detection sources. So SOAR stands for Security Orchestration, Automation, and Response. Our SOAR allows us to normalize incidents from various telemetry points into a standard format that integrates into our case management system, which is Salesforce Service Cloud. The SOAR integrates with third-party security intelligence platforms and Gen AI to provide our analysts with enriched incident notifications that can be quickly analyzed and turned into actionable incident reports. Our SOC can then take action to assist in mitigating threats, from updating firewall dynamic address lists to quarantining endpoints via one-click actions in our SOAR. If a client is under an active cyber attack, the SOC is your first point of contact to drive incident response, and we'll touch more on that shortly. Lastly, ongoing security awareness helps to complete the cycle, feeding what our analysts learn back into the process to optimize and tune security infrastructure. The SOC can also the SOC can also assist with proactive vulnerability assessments, cyber training, and virtual CISO exercises to develop and practice an incident response plan. So I have a couple clients to highlight here around security services. The first is Dallas ISD. So Dallas had implemented a cloud-based SIEM solution, but were struggling to manage it effectively themselves. They also had challenges monitoring their security infrastructure after hours due to staff constraints. Now, we engaged with them quickly to transition from their cloud-based SIEM to our all-site SIEM platform, and then enabled our SOC services to provide 24/7 security monitoring. Our tooling is ingesting logs from both their firewalls and endpoints, providing a full MDR service. We've also developed integrations with our SOAR platform to automate the isolation or quarantining of suspicious endpoints and IP addresses. Ultimately, we're allowing their limited cybersecurity staff to focus on more pressing district initiatives while their security infrastructure is being monitored 24/7. Now, oftentimes our first engagement with a client is after they've experienced a cyber attack. And so was the case with the city of Lawrenceville here in Georgia. The city had engaged with MGT to assist with remediation post cyber attack. Our team conducted a full assessment of their security posture and completed a penetration test to identify vulnerabilities. We also worked with the city to develop a NIST-based cybersecurity policy and have implemented 24/7 security monitoring of their infrastructure, extending from perimeter firewalls to servers and endpoints. The last thing I want to touch on is how we support our clients during a critical security incident or data breach. So first, there are several engagement scenarios for our clients when they want to engage us for incident response. So first of all, clients can purchase a cyber incident response retainer from MGT. This retainer is basically a block of hours that can be used to engage with our senior SOC analysts and cyber engineers when an incident response event occurs. Pre-purchasing this retainer puts the client, quote, at the front of the line if and when a security incident occurs. The second scenario is a client with existing SOC and SIEM services. In this case, the SOC may have already alerted you to the incident, and you need our IR team to fully engage. And the last scenario is a client where we have no IR retainer or existing managed services. Now, in any of these scenarios, an IR engagement can start with a phone call to our Security Operations Center. Our Tier 1 SOC analysts will perform an initial review or triage of the incident and then escalate to our Tier 2 and Tier 3 analysts. If warranted, our Tier 3 analyst will take on the lead role and will form the cyber strike team. This strike team will pull in additional resources as needed to begin containment, eradication, and a recovery plan. The team will work together with the client throughout the process and will provide a post-recovery root cause analysis and incident report. And this team can also work with your cyber insurance providers and can engage third-party forensics teams on your behalf as needed. Okay. So this concludes my portion of the presentation. I'm going to pass this back over to Edwin now to wrap us up with some information regarding funding options for managed services solutions.
Yes, thank you so much, Jack. We'll come back to you after this section with some questions and answer we have, but I'll take some time to talk about some funding options that you can use to procure some of the service we talked about, how we can make it easier to procure, avoid RFP, things like that. So looking at it from a national level, right, there's a couple different funding categories and funding options we have there, right? We have the E-rate program, which has category 2 MIBs, which we'll talk about on the next slide. We have the new cybersecurity pilot program from the FCC that offers managed cybersecurity. We have the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Grant available to K-12 and libraries. It's a one-time investment trying to get basic Wi-Fi connectivity out to rural communities and underserved communities. And then on a national level, we're able to use multiple procurement vehicles such as Focus, Spur, Master Contract, NASPO, Omnia, USETPA, and GSA is currently pending, right, to help you to procure these services without having to go out to bid to get what you want, get you customized what you're looking for. From a state and local one, focusing on two California focused ones, we have the California Teleconnect Fund, which is available to K-12 and libraries. That's an annual fund that can provide managed services. And we have the California Cybersecurity Grant Program, which is available to state and local entities, which provides grant money to cover cybersecurity offerings. And then some state specific funding, right? In Texas, we have DIR contracts. We have access to some Georgia statewide contracts, CMAS, and some SLP agreements. Other sources of funding to cover these and help you with the operational cost of here is some municipal bonds and school bonds. Uh, MGT offers fiscal consulting and grant writing services. There's several grants and school safety grants that are being published almost on a daily basis that MGT can help you with those grant writing services. And there's multiple private funding, leasing, infrastructure as a service type offerings as well. So the key takeaway we want you to take away from this is there's funding that is widely available for the managed service and cybersecurity solutions. So when you're thinking about this, remember that there are these support systems out there to help you. And again, one of those biggest ones we'll talk about is that the E-rate category 2 um, MIBs. If you want to switch to the next slide.
Sorry. Yep.
No problem. So E-rate category 2 does cover managed services as long as it is management and monitoring of those eligible broadband internet connections. Think managed Wi-Fi, right? If you procure the Wi-Fi through E-rate, or if you procure the Wi-Fi outside of E-rate, but it would have been E-rate eligible, we're able to attach our Empower managed services on top of that to help you offset some of that cost, right? So that if there's more E-rate dollars out there that you're not taking advantage of, if you have untapped E-rate dollars, this is something we can help you, right? And then the federal government can step in and cover their portion. You're responsible for your portion, and you're able to get these services managed and monitored to provide a better service to your end users, your teachers, your students, and community and such, right? So as you can see here, in the last E-rates 5-year cycle, which is just ending this year, $4.8 billion in unspent money went unused. So in next year, we're targeting for the 5-year cycle from 2026 to 2030, roughly, depending on what the FCC and USAC guidelines come out as. We're looking at possibility of $12 billion out there of monies to help you procure these services and get your organization, K-12 and libraries under managed service to help you provide a better impact to your communities. And then as Jack talked about, as part of this, we have a special attendee offer to do an overview of what your savings analyst would be for your organization. This is custom tailored for each organization. And Jack, if you wanted to add some more background on what that offering includes.
Yeah, basically what we would do is we would consult with you to use that TCO model to basically run the analysis of the example, like the example we showed earlier, and then we'll prepare a custom report that reviews that analysis that we think you'll find compelling. And if you're interested in taking advantage of that, we would encourage you to contact your MGT account manager or email us at techsolutions@mgt.us. We'll have that email address up on the last slide when we conclude the presentation.